Hi, okay, in this video we're going to take a look at how to add some website analytics stats to your website so you can see how many people are visiting your website, where they're coming from, and the type of pages they're looking at, as well as a whole range of additional features that allow you to really get inside your website visitors and find out what they're doing on your website. Okay, so the first things first is we need to go to the Selfie website's client area, and you need to go to a web accessories section where we are now, and we're just going to scroll down to the website analytics accessory here, and we're just going to click through to that page, and from here we can download the actual plugin itself. So we're going to click on this big blue button here to download that plugin to our computer. That's just going to download a zip file. We don't need to do anything with that file right yet. So we'll close that. Now what we need to do is go to our website that we're working on currently. So here's a website I'm currently working on, and I want to put the website analytics function on this site. So you need to log in as your administrator, and then we're going to go into the dashboard and we're going to install that plugin. So here we are within the administrator panel of your website, and we're going to go to the plugins section. Just click on that link there within your toolbar, and we're going to click add new to add a new plugin, and we're going to click the upload link, and we can then upload a plugin from a location of our choice. So if we click on choose file, we're going to simply click that, and it's going to open a new window where we can select the downloads section to download that zip file that we just or upload that zip file that we just downloaded from the client area Selfie websites. So let's double click on that one, and now we're going to click install now to install that plugin onto our website. Just wait a moment or two for that to install, and it should come up with a message just to say it's been installed successfully. So we can now go ahead and activate that plugin. And once activated, we're going to have access to an additional item on our toolbar. So if we scroll down here, you'll see an additional item has now appeared. It's got Google Analytics. Now that's our website analytics that is now built in to our website, meaning we can access our visitor stats from within this control panel itself. Okay, so we've now installed the plugin, and that is eventually going to allow us to access our visitor information on our website itself. But before we can do that, we first need to create a Google Analytics account. Now if you already have a Google account, so for example if you have a Gmail account, or you've got a YouTube account with Google, then that's great, you can use the same credentials. If not, you can create a new account really easily. So we're just going to find the Google Analytics website, so just doing a search for Google Analytics. We're going to click through to the Google Analytics website itself, and we can then either sign in if you already have a Google account, or you can create a new account, which only takes a few moments. So I'm just going to sign in with my credentials. So we've now signed into Google Analytics itself. Now before we can actually link this to our website, we need to create a new account on Google Analytics. So we're going to go to the admin section, and we need to add a new account. So we're going to create a new account, and it's just saying, would you like to track a website or a mobile app? So we're tracking a website, so we just need to fill in a few basic details. So the account name, so this is going to be sort of the name of your website, so my testing website. And then sorry, this is account name, so we'll call this account 1, and then here's where we put the website name itself, so my testing website. You need to add in the URL for your website, so we go back to our website itself. We just click through to the main site itself. Here's the URL for that website, so we're going to right click and copy to copy that. Go back to Google Analytics, and we're just going to pop that in there. So right click and paste. Just select a category from one of the ranges of categories that Google gives you. So This is going to be in relation to, let's see, so internet and telecommunications. Let's change the reporting time zone so it's UK, because we're here in the United Kingdom. There we go. Okay, and then there's a few other tick boxes which you can tick or untick if you want to, so have a little read through of those and tick or untick those accordingly. And then if you just click the get tracking ID there, we're not going to actually use that tracking ID at this stage, it's just setting up the actual account. Google's then asking for you to agree to their terms of service, so let's just go down again, just choose United Kingdom, and let's just say that we accept those terms and conditions, and then it should set up the website tracking, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so that's our Google account itself set up. The next stage is going to be to go back into our website and then just link that through the plugin that we just installed. Okay, so we're now back on our website. We just need to go back into the control panel itself, and we're going to go back into the settings of that plugin just to finish the configuration. So within the toolbar here, let's again click Google Analytics, and we're going to choose Authorize Plugin to get this plugin authorized. So we're going to click that. It's going to ask us to add an access code. Now, to get the access code, simply click on this link here that says Get Access Code. That's going to take us off to Google. And if you're still logged in, you'll get to this page here. If you're not logged in still, you'll just need to log back in with your Google credentials. And this is just confirming, do you want the plugin that we've just installed on our website to access our Google Analytics data, which of course we do. So we're going to click Accept to accept that, and here's our access code. So we're going to simply pop our cursor in there to highlight the whole lot. I'm going to right click and choose Copy, and we're going to go back to our website. Within the access code field here, we're just going to right click and choose Paste to paste that code in, because there's no way I'm going to remember to type all of that out manually. And we're going to click Save Access Code, and that's going to, with a bit of luck, authorize our plugin. So we've got a confirmation here saying plugin authorized succeeded, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted. So if we scroll down here, it just confirms the domain name. So if you have a number of Google Analytics accounts set up, you'll have a choice of different web analytics to track. Obviously if it's just a one, it will just be your one website there. So that should be your website's domain name. So that's just confirming this is linked to your Google Analytics account. And then we're just going to click Update Options here. Now once that's done, we can then get into some of the additional settings and configure this plugin to our own preferences. Right, so we've now configured our plugin, so it's going to talk to our Google Analytics account. We can then access our website stats from within our control panel itself, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But before we do, there's a few more settings that it's worth drawing to your attention now and configuring just before we really get going. Now this won't take long, but within the back-end settings, let's click there. We've got a few more options that we can switch on if you want to. Now under additional stats and charts, we've got the option to show geographical map for visitors, and what that does is that will show you a map of where your visitors are coming from within the world. So that's quite a useful sort of visual cue for where your visitors are coming from. So I definitely recommend you switch that on. Show traffic overview, again definitely recommend you switch that on to give you a full overview of your website visitors. Show top pages, what that will do is that will show you your top performing pages or your most popular pages on your website. So again, really useful information, so switch that one on. Show top referrers, again I would definitely switch that on. What that does is that will tell you which websites are directing traffic through to your website, so which other websites are actually referring traffic through to your website. Now that's really useful if, for example, you've paid for perhaps an advert or a profile on a separate website, and that website is then directing traffic through to your website. this is going to tell you which of those are working best. So switch that on. Show top searches. This will show you the most popular search terms that people are typing into Google to come across your website. Now once you've set any of those settings that you want to set, click Update Options to save those changes, and that will save those changes, and we'll be able to access that information from within this control panel. As I said, we'll take a look at that in just a second. Now there's a couple more settings that you may be interested in, which is within the front end. Now the difference between front end settings and back end settings is that the back end settings are information that you can see within this administration section of a website, if you like, whereas front end settings will allow you to view website visitor information from your website itself. So if we just click through to our website itself and we click on one of the pages, what you can see here is we'll be able to actually see website traffic for this particular page without us having to go back into the control panel. Now this is only visible to me or yourself as an administrator, so your website visitors will not see this information here, but it's just another way that you can actually access visitor information about your website easily. So if you want to switch that on, all you need to do is go back into the Google Analytics settings. We're going to choose front end settings this time, and if you switch those two on, that will show that information within your front end of your website. Don't forget to click Update Options to save that change also. So with all those settings configured, the next step is to now take a look at the actual reports that we're going to get through this control panel. Okay, so we've now done all the hard work of configuring this plugin and setting some of those settings on our control panel. The next step is to actually have a look at some of these reports. Now currently the reports probably are not going to be showing much because we only just set them, but this is where we're going to find information out on an ongoing basis. So click on the dashboard within your toolbar, and we're going to scroll down, and there'll be a new section that's been added down here called Google Analytics Dashboard, and this is where all that visitor information is going to appear. Now you can then filter this by different time spans, so if you want to view the last 90 days, last 30 days, last 2 weeks, last week, you can do that. And you can also show information about your visits and your visitors. The difference between visits and visitors is if you have one person who visits your website 5 times, that would count as 5 visits, but it would only count as 1 visitor. So that's the difference between those two. The other things you might be interested in are page views, and bounce rate is a particularly useful one. That will tell you how many people are visiting your website and then bouncing straight back off it again. So they've come to your website perhaps by mistake and they've hit the back button or pretty much immediately. So really you want to have as low a bounce rate as possible. The higher the bounce rate is, a high bounce rate is a negative thing. You don't want a high bounce rate. Okay. And what it could be telling you is perhaps information on your homepage needs to be changed, or it help you to configure any landing pages you have. Okay, so that's the Google Analytics dashboard you have here. We've got a summary of some of that information down here, so your visits, visitors, page views, and because we've set some additional settings there in terms of geographical maps, all of that will also appear within this dashboard once you start getting visitors through. Now there's no information here currently because this is a test website and I've got no traffic coming through. I've had no traffic coming through in the last 5 minutes. But once you've set that, this will now start tracking visitor information continually. So you can come back and have a look at this in a couple of days' time, and you should start to see some of this information actually filtering through into your reports. So that is really how you can use the Website Analytics plugin on your website to track your website visitors.